Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is AMYLIRA binti Abdul Hamid. My metric number is AN 180087. Let me introduce my supervisor and my co-supervisor. My supervisor is Puan Norma Izzati binti Abdullah. Meanwhile, my co-supervisor is Dr. Nur Aminah binti Hamidun. For my final year project 1, I will present about prediction future rainfall using statistical downscaling method Sdsm at Catchment Bukit Merah. For the introduction, in this chapter, the main idea will elaborate of this study in terms of climate change which related with rainfall. This chapter also describes the overall idea in this study through the scenario that led to implementation of this project. The background of this project is briefly explained, followed by problem statement, objectives, and also scope of project. For the general background of study, climate change is defined as a disruption in the statistical distribution of weather patterns that last for decades to millions of years. It means that more or fewer extreme weather conditions such as floods and droughts. Since the Industrial Revolution, human activities, especially the burning of fossil fuels, for energy production, heating processes, and also agricultural activities, deforestation, and changing land uses have been identified as the main sources of climate change and global warming. There are many factors contribute to cause and influence climate change. Human activities has affected climate change in terms of global energy balance, heating up atmosphere and causing global warming. Temperature and precipitation are main parameters that closely related to climate change. Global warming will have a significant impact on local and regional precipitation and hydrological regimes, either in global or local. For national and local factor, the example of the factor is encroachment of fragile ecosystem. Meanwhile, for the global factor, global warming and open burning are some of the good examples of global factor that are interact with industrialization and clearing of land for agriculture. The global warming also has a significant impact 2. Ecological, social, and economic system of human, such as health of ecosystem and fish resource management, industrial and also agricultural water supply. These potential changes will affect some qualitative and quantitative estimation on the impact of climate change upon regional weather resources. For the problem statement in this study, about 250,000 people in Korean district will face water rationing if the water level at the Bukit Merah Dam drops to 5.1 meters. The water level at the lake has reached 5.97 meters today, which is very alarming. This is from the New Straits Times on 25th April 2016. Bukit Merah Reservoir, which is stand for BMR, experienced lots of change in land uses due to population growth and economic expanding. For example, excessive water withdrawals, water diversion from the catchment area, lake reclamation for agriculture, which is oil palm and rubber plantation of the BMR catchment area, and sand mining near Sungai Kurau mouth can significantly reduce the volume of water in the reservoir and destroying the habitats for flora and fauna. Uncontrolled development and land activities in the catchment accelerate the rate of sedimentation in the reservoir. In addition, the use of fertilizers in agriculture activity has also led to an increase in plant growth and the formation of large islands in the reservoir. There are three objectives in this study. Firstly, to downscale the present climate variables for the Bukit Merah Basin using Sdsm model. Secondly, to downscale the future climate variables for the Bukit Merah Basin using Sdsm model too. And lastly, to predict the rainfall impact of climate change on Bukit Merah Reservoir in 2022 until 2050. We move to the scope of study. The study will focus on how to interpret statistical downscaling method. Hence, the result of the climate models will be used as an input for the data in this study. And then, the investigation on how the possible future rainfall for the selected catchment area will also be discussed in this study. For the literature review, it is about the development of technology will be discussed in this chapter. The source of information can be retrieved from internet or any other reference such as book or journals. The operation of this project can be learned by referring to the similar project. From all the sources that have been collected, this project can be applied easily, thus more efficient and can benefit to the life of future generation. The technology that will be used in this chapter is statistical downscaling method, which is Sdsm in terms of software modeling. The special function of Sdsm is to assist the relationship between large-scale and local climate variables to estimate local and regional climate characteristics. This technique is also computationally low cost and provides climate information at point location, and it is also a hybrid of the stochastic weather generator and regression-based methods. In addition, quality control and data transformation is essential prior to data analysis to remove inaccurate values and verify time completeness of the data in terms of 2. Temperature and precipitation. Now, I will present about the methodology of this study. In this chapter, it explains about the methodological background for the proposed model technique in integrated the future precipitation or rainfall due to climate change. Overalls about the software used in this project, which is Sdsm, to interpret the future rainfall at Catchment Bukit Merah, Perak, Malaysia. For the study area, Bukit Merah Reservoir, which is BMR, is the oldest man-made reservoir in Malaysia. It is located in Krian district, northern part of Perak. As the oldest man-made lake in Malaysia, it is provide irrigation water for people living near there. Bukit Merah Reservoir is provide irrigation water for double cropping to some 24,000 hectare of paddy land under the Krian Sungai Manik project. In addition to the irrigation supply, it is also provide some of water to meet the domestic industrial demand for the Krian district. Water in the reservoir is also a source of income for the local fishermen. The BMR also serves as a draft control device where the standard operating procedure is to maintain the supply level from 8.65 meter to the level of RL 6.1 meter during the irrigation period. This is done by releasing the BMR water in a smaller quantity earlier to the Kurau River downstream to increase the storage capacity of the reservoir to accommodate high river discharge during high rainfall in the upper catchment. There are two major river inlets which flow into BMR, which are Sungai Merah and Sungai Kurau. However, there are two other rivers, Sungai Jelutong and Sungai Selarong, which also link up with Sungai Merah and Sungai Kurau before joining the Bukit Merah Reservoir. Bukit Merah Reservoir is also provide a flood control to alleviate flooding during the monsoon. We go to the part of research flowchart. As we can see on the slide, we will start with the literature review. In this literature review, we will find some information, some fact that we can use for our case study. And then we go to the problem statement. In this problem statement, we will find the problem of our study area, and we will doing some research on how to overcome our problem. And then to overcome the problem, we will use the software modeling to analyze data. For the result, we will do the discussion and conclusion to interpret the data. For the overall project methodology, we can see the figure on the slide, which is present the 5 important steps in Sdsm model. Firstly, screening. Screening is the selection of NCEP predictors related to the strength of each predictor-predictant relationship, which is analyzed with monthly percentage of explained variance and partial correlation coefficient. Next, we go to the calibration, which is calibrate the model. In this calibration step, creation of monthly regression models using selected predictors. A simulation is performed using the first half of each temperature or precipitation data series. A percentage of explained variance and a value of standard error report the quality of the calibration, which is maximized with mean bias correction and variance inflation parameters. For validation in transform variables, it is simulation of daily temperature or precipitation data series for the second half of each data series. The calibrated regression models t-test and f-test compare simulated and observed monthly means and variances. We go to the climate scenario in terms of scenario generator. It is simulation of daily temperature or precipitation data series for the whole 1961 to 1990 period with both observed NCEP and CGCM1 predictors. Monthly means and variances are compared using t-test and f-test, and temperature or precipitation data will be used for comparison of monthly residuals with downscale data. And lastly, the hydrologic application. It is for downscale temperature and precipitation data series serve as input to SSARR hydrologic model for the simulation of stream flow hydrographs. For this part, relative scales of statistical downscaling (SDSM), we can see the error, the strength error and the weakness error. It shows the advantage and disadvantage of the SDSM software modeling. For the strength of SDSM, it is station scale climate information from GCM scale output. It is also cheap, computationally undemanding, and readily transferable, and also applicable to exotic predictors such as air quality and wave heights. For the weakness of SDSM, it must depend on the realism of GCM boundary forcing, and it is a choice of domain size and location affect results. It is also required high quality data for model calibration. For the expected result in result and discussion, the future rainfall in terms of minimum and maximum variables interpreted by using SDSM was expected to be determined for the future periods of 2022 until 2050. Next, the chosen rainfall station, which is 3 rainfall stations within the reservoir, were used to calibrate and validate the future rainfall of Bukit Merah Reservoir by using the data of rainfall within 2010 to 2020 in this study. And lastly, the expected data such as annual, monthly, and mean monthly rainfall project by SDSM will be obtained and analyzed. For the expected conclusion, in summary, climate change in Malaysia is a disaster that has hit the people of Bukit Merah hard. The emission of greenhouse gases has become more extreme in recent years due to the problems of climate change. Therefore, one of the solutions will be used is Sdsm software to predict future rainfall conditions. It is expected that the hydrological model of Bukit Merah can be successfully developed as a result of this research. I hope that my presentation is clear and understandable. Thank you.